paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, that's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery, and welcome back to at least parts of the United States organized play at the LGS level. I have to say, I personally was shocked by the Wizards announcement that in-store play returns in the United States on May 28th. In fact, they're going so far as they have a love your local game store promotion, where from June 18th on, if you spend $50 or more on sealed Magic product at an LGS, you'll get a foil old bordered Fabled Passage, and then later this summer there will be foil old bordered promos for in-store entry.
There's another. They're giving out something else too.
And then they're going to have a Mystery Booster Convention edition with the playtest cards available in the stores.
Well, that's not everything. They're also giving away a Secret Lair Petri dish to everybody who ventures out for the first time into the getting coughed at simulator 2021. Like, why would you risk yourself like that for?
I'm vaccinated, and nobody at my LGS would lie about being vaccinated so that they could go out.
Yeah, this is a question. Everybody, welcome in.
Promo infected vermin.
I'm Corbin. That's DJ and Jason. You're hearing. I mean, look. The idea is if you're vaccinated, this sort of thing becomes safer. But I have to say that from just sort of a corporate perspective, and the fact that it's not like the United States has reached undeniable herd immunity or whatever. There's still some risk.
We will never reach herd
to
immunity.
society at large to do this. So I can't say that someone's wrong after they're vaccinated to want to go play in-person events, and I'm not going to tell them they're wrong to do that. But I am surprised that Wizards is pushing it this soon. I thought the fall for something like this, leading up to larger scale events in the next year. I'm shocked that it's here in May. They must have been ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly discouraging because it's ammunition for all the worst people as well. Like, people who aren't going to get vaccinated are going to point to this and say, "See, I don't need it," because companies are making decisions that are irrespective of the public health.
Yeah, but also, quarantining was boring. And we don't want to do it. So what if we just stopped? Right? Like, what if we just treated quarantine like Pogs and just didn't do it anymore? Just no more Pogs.
For what it's
disappeared in 18 months.
I mean, for what it's worth, Wizards is still, everybody must follow local health and safety guidelines, etc. So if your area is not allowing this, it's not like a store can do this because Wizards says it. It just means that stores will now be able to sanction the events that they're running. For the past year, since the pandemic began, Wizards, they couldn't stop stores from running events. You can't tell a private business not to have a Magic tournament as Wizards of the Coast, I guess. But you can tell them that you won't sanction it within DCI Reporter or whatever the current software is. But that's all they could do. So any store that ran a pre-release would get punished. But other than that, there was nothing that was done to any store that was just running events anyway. So, the reality is what this does signal is to those people you're talking about, Jason, this may or may not have changed anything in the first place, depending on the store. If the store was already running unsanctioned events, those people are already going to be there. If they weren't, this probably isn't going to
unsanctioned,
force
is
them.
did that come out? How the Full Art Basics look in that?
Beautiful. They're beautiful.
Cool.
Little. I'm not even going to say that, but so I don't know. That's the situation. I think what this does is signal to a lot of people, especially probably a lot of people who play Magic, who are in the younger, college age type demographic, young, in your 20s, not necessarily older parents or family or children, those sort of things. People who may be in a little safer spot once they're vaccinated to go play. This signals to them that, if it's okay in your area, it's okay with them.
Yeah, I mean, this announcement is the equivalent of that mission accomplished banner on the aircraft character. Like that's
kinda.
That's where we're at.
We did it.
All right.
We defeated COVID because 30% of people got the vaccine. And all the people who said herd immunity meant you just go to Applebee's with no mask on are the ones that are going to keep us from actually reaching herd immunity. And that is one of life's beautiful little ironies. But hey, we just alienated 70% of our listeners. So maybe we should talk about Magic the Gathering.
Well, I mean, and this is kind of awkward. It's a little awkward to even talk about because we do want to tread somewhat carefully here. But I think at the end of the day, this is news that we wanted to cover, and follow your own conscience and your own.
That's what. No.
Doctor's advice.
That's what got us into this. No, fuck you.
I can't fix their
Follow
conscience,
your own
man.
conscience is that's literally what
people have been doing
here.
that for 18 months, and now we're like, hey, you know how we said 500,000 people are dead? It's probably closer to 950,000. So
follow your own conscience. Buy Dogecoin.
People are always going to follow their own conscience. What I'm saying is, I don't think you should let this announcement mean more than it does. This is Wizards and Hasbro saying, hey, the conditions are acceptable enough for us politically to go back to trying to make a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. It's not the same as saying that these events are 100% safe.
But like, play Magic at your own. But that was the way before. It was always play Magic at your own risk, right? There was SARS and Ebola and all kind of stuff. People playing Contagion Clasp. People playing Meldex. It was always play Magic at the LGS at your own risk.
You never knew. All right, well, moving on. Speaking of things we're just learning about, it is Modern Horizons 2 and the coming of Counterspell to Modern. And on top of that, I mean, they've certainly done a good job getting the conversation going. Now, we've seen, for those who don't know, Modern Horizons 1 came out a couple years ago, kind of destroyed Modern a little bit. Hogak broke things. Urza broke things. Modern's come out all right on the other side of it, sort of. But
yeah, there hasn't been a single banning in Modern in the last 18 months. Good point.
I mean,
Hogak hasn't won a single Modern tournament.
Yeah, Modern has been beset by, as has every format, many bannings from new cards being printed. But Modern Horizons 1 specifically was really neat outside of the couple of cards that broke it, because what they did is they looked at archetypes that could exist or could get a push in Modern and created cards to do that. For instance, they created goblins for the format, right? They made a goblin deck where one didn't really exist before by printing a couple of goblin cards there. And that's a completely playable deck in Modern, not the all-out 8-whack goblins you're thinking of, but a mid-rangey Ether Vial goblins deck with goblin ringleaders. That's a thing you can play thanks to really targeted cards for Modern Horizons 1. So Modern Horizons 2, I mean, we'll see with the bannings, but in theory, they're going to be pushing the same stuff. If you remember for the first one, well, they're going to be pushing the same idea of targeting archetypes. In Modern Horizons 1, I think the first preview card we had was Cabal Therapist, because everyone, and Sarah, yeah, those were a couple of the first, and everyone
Cabal
wanted.
Therapist, I think, proved to us that we don't need to worry about this Lion's Eye Lion.
Exactly. Because they really went for the big legacy evoking, preview there first, and it turned out to not just, I mean, it's not even playable in the format. It's not even just irrelevant. It's just not even something you can get away with playing. But so keep that in mind, as the first cards they previewed this time around are Counterspell, the Lion's Eye Diamond Lymond, and Urza's Saga.
You say Lymond?
Yeah, it's Lymond, the Lion Diamond.
The Lymond.
It's called a
I'm not,
portmanteau. Look it
I'm
up.
not making fun of you for that. I'm just wondering if that's what I'm going to have to hear.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're gonna have. Man, you heard ass trophy. You heard deep anal. You're gonna hear Lymond. It's gonna be.
Lymond is worse somehow.
And like this, that's the same person that uses the term Tango Land too, and wants you to laugh every time.
Do you get it, DJ? It takes 2 to tango. That means coming into play untapped. I'm glad you understand it now.
I
that
say
derailed
that,
us good.
but like
That derailed the shit out of this
also,
podcast.
like, drive to Reno to vend a PTQ at this point, and like I would.
Yeah.
I can't think of the weird DJ metaphor here, but like I
driving to Reno does a lot of work. Just that imagery being evoked.
Oh,
we
yeah,
drove
sure,
to Vegas.
but, like, I mean, I would listen to your bad beat story across the table and like be a little nostalgic about it. Like, oh yeah, I missed this miserable
DJ,
part of the job.
Would you drive to Oklahoma City and then from Oklahoma City to Reno?
Is that a reference to something that I'm
Yeah,
missing?
it's a reference to the first GP Vegas where Bouchard and I swung by Oklahoma City to pick Corbin up, and then we
I see.
drove cross country. Would you do that? Because you shouldn't. I don't recommend it.
In my car, for what it's worth, I drove. Just to
You
clarify.
drove part of the way.
So Urza's Saga is an enchantment land. If this follows all I'm saying is, if this is the Cabal Therapist of Modern Horizons 2, what power is lurking yet to come in the set?
Yeah, because this is worse than you think, because it's not mana value, it's mana cost. It only gets artifacts. You can't get like a land with CMC 0, or you can't get a gut shot. You have to get something that costs 1 colorless or 0 colorless. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Urza's Saga is this crazy enchantment land saga. So you can just play it immediately. It gains tap to add a mana. It gains tap to add a mana. So it stays on the saga as long as the saga is around. Then on chapter 2, you gain the ability to pay 2 and make a construct. And then on chapter 3, search your library for an artifact card with mana cost 0 or 1. Put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. So, like I said, you can get mana from this thing for 3 turns. You can get 2 constructs out of it because you can activate the second ability with the 3rd chapter on the stack. You can do all kinds of stuff. It is true, though, what Jason is saying. It is a little more limited than you might think with what it can grab. But this card has gotten people talking and the wheels turning like I haven't seen in a very long time.
I have opinions on this card that I haven't seen anybody else post yet.
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Like, I understand from a branding perspective, like the point of this and the goal of like the card is named Urza Saga. But, like, can we stop naming
Nope.
cards after sets,
Nope.
please?
No.
Like, it's just not.
What if we name
good.
sets after cards? They did that for a whole block.
They'll do that. Like, I'm the only surprising thing about this to me is that they didn't put this in Time Spiral, because then we'd have an Urza Saga's Time Spiral and a Time Spiral Urza Saga, and just to say, you know what? No, just screw you, DJ. No.
They probably
like that.
originally slated it for that.
I like that one.
Yeah, like, if you type in Time Spiral trying to search up the price of the original card, the blue Storm card, then you get the entirety of Time Spiral and Time Spiral remastered and Time Shifted, etc., etc. So I look forward to just seeing hidden lemurs or hidden apes or whatever every time I look for this card.
Yeah,
Whatever
that
the
is
stupid hidden monkeys.
It's
a
hidden
pretty
gorillas.
valid
It's
point.
another pun.
Sure.
It's hidden gorillas. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. What do I know?
That's pretty funny. But also a real issue. But I mean, hey, there's like 25,000 cards or whatever. What are you going to do?
Yeah, DJ. That's 25,000 cards, and that's just different versions of cards from Strixhaven.
Yeah, dude. Urza Saga? What are they supposed
There's
to?
the Japanese foil, but then there's the Japanese foil.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin did tweet like 2 days ago, like, "Hey, we're running out of card names. How cool would you guys be if we reused them?" So,
I mean, how can you I don't know. Urza Saga being a saga? Come on, it's worth it. It's worth it. All right, the momentary headaches that we dealt with later, it's worth it. What about Counterspell though? Does this change anything in Modern? Because I don't think it matters.
It's a better Counterspell for like 3 decks that suck to play, including Merfolk.
Well, Merfolk would not play
Modern
this.
Expert by any means, but this strikes me as too slow.
I just read a lot of Twitter, and I haven't seen anybody being like, "Well, I can finally play my really annoying to play against control deck now." This is
an Esper control deck actually won the last Modern Challenge on Magic Online, and I looked. It was running 3 Logic Knots, which is the XX. Blue X.
It's the Delve.
Yeah, it has Delve. So it's basically Counterspell, but like
right. So in Modern, it's almost always Counterspell on turn 2 and turn 3 because you just make them pay 1 or 2 by exiling your fetch land out of your graveyard to delve and increase the X cost, and they can't do it. It's essentially Counterspell. So Counterspell is a better Counterspell than that, but that will also mean that other decks that didn't play cards like Logic Knot, but were sometimes interested in Counterspells, would rather have Counterspell over Remand. But I actually think that at this point in the format's lifespan and the power level, Counterspell it's just fine, right? Yeah. I'm actually kind of excited. Like it's like I'm excited about it without any concern for it breaking the format because the format's been broken and folded back together.
Well, this probably makes
shout out to every like Jill Stein voter or LGS who like back at the paper days they were like, I'll bet we'll see Counterspell in Modern soon, and this was like when they said soon that they were saying this in like 2013, and like now they're messaging you on Facebook like, told you so, man, told you so. Counterspell in Modern is gonna happen. Like it's a different format.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're gonna get smug messages in 10 years when they get rid of the reserved list because like of the climate apocalypse. They're like, well, now that there's no clean drinking water and roving motorcycle gangs are going across the United States scalping people, it doesn't make sense to have the reserved list in place anymore. And I'm going to get a message as my cracked phone dies and I can't charge it because there's no electricity. The last thing I'll read is a Reddit post like, I told you, cuck.
I wouldn't want you to go out any other way.
You think we'll still be using Reddit when no, it'll be like 32chan by then. Like we'll be on 32chan.
It'll be Musknet.
But it'll be really funny and historic.
It'll be historical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyways, back to Modern Horizons 2. There's also, by the way, Brainstone, which it's a 1-man artifact. You can pay 2 to sack it to Brainstorm, and the Diamond Lion, the Lyman, which it's a 2/2 that can tap to LED. I don't think either of these cards matter.
No.
The set matters though. The set's gonna be pretty good. It's going to be some new cards for EDH, some EDH reprints, some new cards for Modern.
And of course, old border foil. Old bordered boils. Old border foil shock fetch lands, enemy fetches. So this will be a massive printing just because of those.
Yeah, and like coinciding with the return to play, I think Modern stuff that's too cheap right now, anything in like you think will get played in Modern that's too cheap, just it's gonna go up farther than it should, just on the basis of everyone panicking and buying crap for Modern. So if you've been picking up Modern stuff all along, well done.
Yeah, it's certainly been a long 6 months of opportunity to buy low on a lot of Modern stuff because cards have just plummeted. Some of the Modern cards have.
I actually broke Brainstone, but I don't want to talk on the cast about how I did it. So,
curious. Is it with Urza Saga?
No, of course not. The card's trash. Might as well have stomach sickness.
How excited are you about the lands, though?
I don't
as the
care,
old
but
border
like
fetches,
I
don't care.
want to sell them.
Yeah, I mean, well, how excited are you from either a player perspective or a vending perspective? How do you see this impacting sort of where the Magic community is at with fetch lands?
I heard a rumor that this is going to happen, and I couldn't think of a single way to make any money on it.
I mean, I heard the same rumor. I bought like some number of old border allied fetches when I heard that because I figured people would want to match their Bloodstained Mires and their Scalding Tarns and their Grixis deck. They'd want old border ones to match.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I bought the secret layer for $350 so I could have a Misty Rainforest. That is my response to that.
Okay, I understand. Fair enough. All right, well then let's move on and let's get to everyone's favorite part of the podcast where we play Breaking Bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
I have a rare from Commander 2014.
Could you stop?
Why?
Commander 2014, what was that?
Mono colors.
Which color?
From the Ashes.
It's blue.
Probably not that one.
I don't know any of those cards.
It is not a reprint. It is a card exclusive to this deck. So that's a list of like 4 or 5 cards? 6 cards? It is roughly $1, and I find this in bulk I have always found this in bulk.
Is that the Tempt With set?
No, Tempt with Discovery was C13 originally.
It's $1?
Correct.
Is it is it a spell or creature?
Creature.
It's the Siren?
Yep.
Nice.
I don't know how to pronounce this one. Is it Dulcet or Dulcet?
Dulcet.
Dulcet? Okay, it's Dulcet Sirens.
Dulcet's an adjective, bro. It's
Okay.
not a place.
Blue and a tap, target creature attacks target opponent this turn. It's got morph for whatever reason. It's a siren, and it just redirects attacks and makes shenanigans happen. It's not particularly powerful, but you will find these in piles of bulk rares all the time. So you should.
It's
pull
the
them out.
only rare in that deck that isn't $7 at this point, right? Like
Pretty much, yeah. Like Breaching Leviathan's insane. Whatever card has Lieutenant from that, I don't. It's a fish. Whatever fish has Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Dan. It's a
it.
fish. It ain't got no legs.
That's it. That's the one.
It ain't got no legs,
there's a lot of,
DJ.
like,
That fish
got that
tasted
reference,
like
don't worry.
cigarettes.
but yeah,
Big old
Dulcet
fat
Sirens
rain.
is
I could do this all day.
it's a pick.
It's a pick. I got a pick for y'all, and it's your weakness. I know. It's a Strixhaven
Get the
Black Uncommon.
Get out of here. Why are you allowed?
I was going through Strixhaven bulk over the weekend, weren't you?
No.
Where's my Strixhaven shit? I got it on my desk. Black Uncommon?
Yep.
Why you like this?
I
Let's
won't
see
like
in
know the
real
card
time.
name, but I'll know what it does.
Okay, let's wait. Let's see if Jason's got some cards to look through here.
Essence Infusion. No, that's a...
Is this
Let
like
him-
the
don't
card
say
draw
anything.
one?
Don't say anything. Let Jason look.
I hate you. I don't want to do this.
It's like it's the copy it for each creature you
Yes.
sack or whatever.
Yes, Plum the Forbidden. It is a Strixhaven Black Uncommon. It's $1 right now. It's a 2-mana instant as additional cost. To cast it, you can sack one or more creatures. Copy it for each creature sacked this way. You draw a card and you lose a life.
That seems pretty cool in an Extus deck.
Yeah, there's certainly I mean, it's good enough just playing limited and Witherbloom. Sack your pest tokens to offset it, and it just becomes draw a bunch of cards. I can think of a lot of different ways this card's pretty good in Commander, but I have to say I didn't expect it to be a pick when we did the set review a month or whatever ago. It didn't strike out, stand out to me as being something on that level, but it is, and now you know.
I have a $1 white uncommon from, and you're going to love this. You're going to love it. Tempest.
Flickering Ward?
No.
Don't know what's in Tempest, man.
It's in Exodus. It's predicated on sacrificing creatures.
Oh,
I mean, if you don't know,
Martyr's
you
Cause.
don't know.
No, Martyr's Cause was Urza Saga.
It's called Worthy Cause, actually.
Okay. No, I
Buyback
mean,
too.
that's not what I was thinking of. I didn't guess the card correctly, but I said Martyr's Cause, but then I remember that was from Urza Saga.
Well, you got one of the words right accidentally, so partial credit.
What is it? Worthy Cause?
Worthy Cause. This is the first cause. We call it Worthy Original. You guys buyback 2. Sack a creature, gain life equal to the sacrifice creature's toughness.
Interesting. It's a white.
Yes.
Interesting card.
Yep. It's a white buyback. It's very good. It's very $1, and these do not get picked out of bulk. I get these in, to the extent that I buy collections from people where they had Tempest bulk.
Sure, yeah.
And if you get older bulk, it's just gold mines. You're picking quarters out of there all day long. So just buy collections.
Right. Yeah, I've actually recently had some bulk that was Tempest, and that's how it is. I just basically pull everything out.
Yeah.
I've been shocked personally as I've been going through cards, how many prices on revised cards have really gone nuts. Which is very surprising to me to see.
Revised Shivan Dragon, like, it's the ugliest Shivan Dragon ever. Because of the, like, I hate how revised looks. And it's just, it was printed in 4th edition and 10th, and yeah, it's
and yet a revised Shivan Dragon is worth a bunch of money right now.
Yep.
And it's like that for a bunch of cards in the set. And if you happen to have unlimited cards, those cards, I mean, it's crazy. I didn't think we would see white bordered go the way of black border. In terms, I thought it would stop with beta essentially, right? Unlimited always commanded a little bit of a premium over revised, but at the end of the day, white border was white border and it wasn't black border. But if revised Shivan Dragon is $30, who knows anymore?
4th edition Shivan Dragon will be $30 next, right?
Always, like, that stuff's always heavily condition dependent too.
True, very true.
That's just one of those things where somebody will find a revised Shivan Dragon in their bulk rares or whatever, and it'll basically be like black border again from all the edge wear and destruction and havoc that has been caused to it, and they'll be like, the scanner will make the little blip sound and say $30 because the scanner can't recognize that somebody directly blew a cigarette onto it from like 2 inches off the card, and they're like, I got a $30 card, and then that's not what you have. You have probably like a $7 or $8 card. But
so what do you think did more damage, property damage? Do you think it was Hurricane Katrina, or do you think it was Doritos crumbs on lunchroom tables scratching up the back of power?
I refuse to think the implications of that one through.
I bet it's pretty close, right?
It's got to be close. That's a good. I like that.
No, I don't know, man.
Should I pick a different hurricane? Hurricane Andrew.
Okay. I don't know. But thanks for letting me. I'm always going to be thinking about that now in terms of Doritos ruining Magic cards.
You know why Hurricane Andrew was worth more? It was a summer hurricane.
Oh. No.
Huh? It really blew. Huh?
Dude, we got to move on. You're killing me. You're killing me, Jason. That's too much. Anyways, all of that was neither here nor there. Shivan Dragon is expensive, in case you didn't know. Maybe you're right,
Yours
Jason.
isn't.
Maybe 4th
Oh my god, the
edition is where it's
oversized
going
one.
next.
The one from Duelist Magazine, the big oversized one is worth money now.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see if that sort of trend will continue post-pandemic. Because I don't, is that a pandemic trend? Is that a stimulus check trend? Is that a collector trend? Is it 10 years ago, the people buying revised Shivan Dragons would have been collecting betas, but now beta is just so undoable?
Scarcity. People ran the numbers. They're like, yeah, I mean, there was this much alpha and beta, and we know that, but we also know there wasn't a ton of revised. And we're bored.
That's the thing, though. There was a ton of revised. Like, the print run for revised versus unlimited, I don't know the number, but I know it's like astronomically huge. Like, if you do like the exponential growth thing or whatever, it was like there was X alpha, slightly more beta, okay, a bit more unlimited, and then revised was the one that just the number just shot up like a 90-degree cliff. Like revised, there's so much more than unlimited, and that's
compared to 7th edition or something like that.
Revised can never be worth this much because there's so much more. That was always the thing.
And I don't know how that I guess none of us do, but how that would compare what the numbers for revised were to what the numbers for say Kaldheim were or for Strixhaven, etc. To even have but it's very possible, and none of us would have predicted this, and maybe it's a bubble, that has to be said, but maybe with the way the collectible markets have been going, maybe revised stuff was always just underpriced when it was a bulk rare.
It's as much of a meme as Dogecoin, but like,
but is it like if you're a collector who just can never get beta at this point, maybe you care about putting together revised. Maybe it's just that there's a lot of it compared to alpha or beta, but there's not a lot of it surviving today, such to the point that maybe it was just all undervalued.
Actually, if you get a revised like copy artifact or something and you put Sharpie on the borders of it, you can regret it.
True. That's a real thing. Anyways, that's all very interesting. So let's move on to some other cards you should probably...
Before we move on, I just wanted to give like Corbin like a really quick shout out for not mentioning revised power a single time. And like an entire 10-minute segment on the set of revised. Like that must have been a lot of emotional labor put in to fix that's
a 2012 meme you're referencing right
now. That's an older meme, sir, but
there were people listening to that cast that were not alive in 2012 for that meme.
Yeah, that is a solid throwback meme right there. I like.
Is that it. That was like pre-after hours? Was that on the episode?
No.
Nobody will know.
No, that one misspeaking was not on the episode.
But hey, even if that wasn't an after hours, some stuff is on after hours. Probably some stuff cut out of this episode. If you go to patreon.com/BSB and give us a mere $20 a month, which is $4 or $5 an episode, you could listen to the cast while drinking out of one or two of these handsome drinking glasses or a Brainstorm Brewery water bottle, and you can listen to the after hours, which is the stuff our takes to a caliente for the... I said caliente in a bit of an Italian accent because, we'll just cut that. That'll be an after hours, and you can listen to that if you give us a mere $20 a month, $4 or $5 an episode. And
$2 or $3
like a lot. There are a lot of people doing it, so why don't you become one of the cool kids?
$2 or $3 a stream, I might add. Twitch.tv/Brainstorm Brewery. We are streaming twice a week while we're doing shout outs here.
If we aren't making you $20 a month with our finance advice, we don't deserve your money. But I think if you take our advice at all, you'll make enough to pay some of it back and get some great swag. In return, we buy such high quality merchandise for our patrons that we break even on the Patreon. So
you don't
go to patreon.com/BSB.
You don't even need to make money on the advice because we have like a pincer attack sort of model where we have like we come at you from Corbin gets it. We come at you from one side with the entertainment value, and then the other side is the finance value. So you just get like. You get blasted on both ends.
You get blasted on both ends. That's the name of your sex tape. Boom!
DJ said you get... That's why you come to Brainstorm Brewery, to get blasted on both ends.
That better be the name of the episode.
I mean... We have it's a pincer. It's a pincer movement. It's a pincer movement
that we need to uphold. And we have a storied history with the subscribe button. We all know that.
True.
And so I'm just keeping suit with the times here.
Yeah, keeping it real. Well, we're going to move on to pick of the week next. But before we do, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, MTG Stocks. MTGstocks.com is the place to go when you're playing Breaking Bulk and you want to know what's worth what in a set. You can sort by set, sort by price, find out all the cards in that set worth picking. When you're talking pick of the week, which we're going to be doing next, you can go look at the interests every single day for the past day or for the past week in US dollars or in euros. Or if you're interested in Pokemon, you can even look up Pokemon cards at Pika Stocks. So mtgstocks.com for all your Pokemon and Magic card needs. Definitely go check it out. That's what we do when we make our pick of the week. And that's what we're up to next. So
I just want to give credit to the creator of MTG Stocks real quick. I'm in a bit of a shout out mood, as I gave Corbin a shout out, and this one's going to the creator of MTG Stocks. We only get high quality sponsors and products we believe in. That's why we got Squatty Potty. That's why we have Original Magic Art, Channel Fire. But we only get products and people who we believe have the sheerest of willpower in the community and the drive to make you money and or entertainment and or value. And I just want to
getting
credit
your feet off the ground when you take a dump.
Yes. I just want to credit the creator of MTG Stocks. The amount of willpower it takes to not change this website to MTG Stonks must be
MTG
tremendous.
Stonks domain is taken.
It's not. I checked. MTG Stonks is it's available in the same way that it got trolled by some website and bought, and now you have to buy it from them. But it is not currently directing to something. MTG Stonks is available, and the amount of willpower it must take to not just change this website for the Wall Street Bet subreddit is tremendous. So you're in good hands when you use our sponsors.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
That was truly a great pitch. And that's why I'm going to follow it up with a great pick. Commander 2013 Black Enchantment Price of Knowledge. This is an MTG Stocks based pick because this card has climbed in the past 6 months from 50 cents to about 80 cents. And that may not sound like much, but we've seen it's not. And we've seen both percentage wise, it's very solid. And we've seen a lot of these cards from these older commander sets. You just randomly end up with $3 to $5 rares just because a card has been printed once. It doesn't even have to have a run on it. It just starts to go up. And
I always thought the art on this card was insane.
It is, yeah. It's some crazy eyeless dude with looks like a bloody book. Yeah, it's a 7-mana enchantment. Players have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Price of Knowledge deals damage to that player equal number of cards in their hand. So it's really nothing special as far as a card goes. It's a cool card, cool effect, cool art. But all of those pieces together give you a card that's very nearly doubled basically over the past year in price, and it's just going to continue creeping up. So this is this is a chart-based pick, something that I think is probably just gonna compound a couple times over the next year or so, and you'll end up with a $3 to $5 card here.
I like to make fun of Corbin for picking stuff that already went up, but I'm gonna pick a card that has already gone up, but I don't think it's done. That card is Primal Amulet. Primal Amulet is a card that I've picked in articles, but I don't know if I mentioned it on this cast, but if you can get these under $20, that's where they're headed. There are multiple versions of the card. The Buy a Box promo is already fairly nuts. The pre-release foil is already fairly nuts.
I'm just looking at I repriced these yesterday. These are already above 20.
They're still gettable under 20. I'm maybe not by Friday, but yeah, if you can get these under 20, do it because they're drying up under that price.
Yeah, this is, look, the point of pick of the week is sometimes just a chance to call out stuff, right? So if Primal Amulet is spiking, so if you are able to get them, now's the time. I think I was one of our pick of the weeks in 2020, so I have to say that one worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it's just it's a card sometimes you gotta come back to a little bit. And it's not any specific commander like normal. It's just one of those things where just like everything is fairly nutty with it. Because it seems
it's a colorless card. Yeah.
It seems like everything from Commander 2021 that's getting played in EDH, it's moving a lot of staples up, but there's like no like specific card that wasn't played a ton that's gonna all of a sudden get played on the basis of those sets. It just seems like,
except for Chain of Smog.
Well, that was Strixhaven.
Oh, sure, I understand. Sorry,
but yeah, I mean, they might as well be the same set, right? It's just like,
I mean, that's honestly that's how I look at it. Yeah,
one big wad of cards that's just your problem now.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of on that basis, it just seems like staples are going up. So like across the board, there are like 4 or 5 decks that really just kind of like Primal Amulet. I kind of think that won't change. And I think it's a little tough to reprint some of these cards, which is too bad because like Growing Rights of Italmok is like the price that Growing Rights of Italmok costs more now than Gaia's Cradle did when we started this podcast. So, feel old yet? I know I do.
Yes. Almost every day, as a matter of fact, I feel old.
All right.
I
have a very DJ pick. This is a card that has zero reason to go up at all right now. But it is a card with a very, very, very unique effect. And I like owning these kinds of cards in just bricks. So that when some other card that I cannot even fathom being designed gets printed, I am ready to just sell off all of these en masse. And that card is False Dawn from Apocalypse.
Okay.
It is 1 and a white sorcery. Colored mana symbols on all permanents you control and all cards you own that are not in play become white until end of turn. Draw a card.
Okay.
Until end of turn. That's the key phrase for me.
And the ones you aren't in play. Yeah, I mean, it does have some combo potential.
Yeah, so I mean, like...
False Dawn is in 165 decks on EDH Rec Build in the last 2 years. That's more than Diversionary Tactics. So... That's more than Yavimaya Embrace. Or Gerard's Verdict.
I have no reason for this card to go up right now, but I could see a world where they print some card that cares about white mana costs not in play, and that like return to Theros where devotion in your deck matters. Like, I don't know, just some crazy thing. And
Kaikar.
The opportunity cost for these is so low. Just if I see this and I'm picking through bulk rares, I just do that little question mark meme where I tilt my head to the side and then I set this aside because I don't want to sell it for 5 cents.
Oh, you know what? Kaikar plays this. And as someone who has played a budget version of Kaikar, this card makes the turn you go off so easy because you need to cast blue spells and all your spells make red mana. So False Dawn normalizing everything to white actually makes your one stupid big Kaikar turn real good. And
plus it cycles.
91% of the 164 decks running False Dawn are Kaikar decks. So like that's tech that does from 2019, but it's still a thing. So
yeah, and
if they do another Kaikar-esque, another deck where it's like it's clearly a 3-color deck and you're making all kinds of different colored mana, but like you can make red easily, but you need blue to go off. Maybe this could be a thing.
Sure, and like maybe this is a card that like Josh Lee Kwai plays in a Kaikar deck at some point, or like I have no idea what the spark will be that just shoots this thing, and maybe it never happens. But like this is absolutely the kind of card where when some wacky mechanic gets printed and you're scrounging for all of these Chain of Smog type new stuff, like I want to own these. I don't want to be looking for them. It's so cheap, it's so just innocuous, and it's just you could just have them.
You could just have all.
Yeah,
the false
I mean that's a
dogs.
great. Those are those fun ones too, right? Because then it's kind of like you got this. Those are my favorite kind of. I mean, you can call them specs, but like
suspicious tech. That's what we call them.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Right? Are you even specking on this card? I mean, it's not. You're just. I think this card's cool and could do something, so I want to have them. And it may never work, but it gives you sort of that dark horse candidate, right? Like I've got for something that might happen in the future.
Yeah,
kind of like your skill borrower or my splinter frights or whatever.
Yeah, like I owned 300 River Kelpie, and then they printed Muldrotha. Like, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of ones I like, where you're actually truly. I like that much more than Buy the Fairies when they announced Throne of Eldraine. Even if that's the one that's the approach.
That's sort of the consistent moneymaker. Yeah, but this is the this is the penny stock for the people who are in it for the thrill of the game.
That's how I am with crypto too. Penny stocks are fun. All right, well, everybody, I think that does it for us this week. Thank you so much for listening, DJ Jason. Anything else you'd like to shout out before we get out of here?
Get vaccinated.
There you go. That is good advice right there. Everybody stay safe out there. Thank you for listening to Brainstorm Brewery. We'll see you next week.